Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at SheetRAT. SheetRAT is a 32-bit Trojan which affects modern Windows operating systems, and if we take a look at it over here in VirusTotal, we can see that it has 51 out of 73 detections, and it has the popular threat label of MSAL/PWSX, which for some reason is kind of like just the generic moniker for a lot of unclassified rats. But if we go to details, we can see that this was created in the year 2100. Great. But the first submission was today, about 9 hours ago, give or take. And it already has 51 out of 73 detections, which is bad for the malware writer. Kind of a big L, if you ask me. We go to detections. We can see that the tags are detect debug environment, assembly. So this may very well be written in assembly. Checks memory available, long sleeps, and calls WMI. Now, you may notice that we don't see persistence in the tags, but that's something I may come back to here in a second. It would take longer to see who does detect it, so we'll take a look at who is not. Any big names? So far, I'm not seeing any at all. Palo Alto Networks isn't detecting it. Anybody else? Yandex, but, who cares about Yandex? You know who I'm not seeing down here? And you know who I am seeing up here? Webroot. Now, as much as we love to shit on Webroot on this channel, they've been getting a suspiciously large amount of detections out of, like, the videos we've had in the past 2 months. I'm starting to get a little curious, but get the hell out of here. Shut up. But there are your detections, and we'll check the big names here just to make sure they're here. BCAF Pro, Bitdefender, where's Kaspersky? We got Kaspersky, and of course Microsoft's going to be here as well. They classify it as lazy. Pretty sure that's just like a generic malware name detection, but kind of throwing another L on the malware writer without even meaning to. Probably. We go to details. Here's your MD5, your SHA-1, and your SHA-256 for the video. Again, these will be in the comment section down below, so if you want to follow along, you don't have to type it in manually. We could see if we go down here, the names it's been submitted under is supermiom.exe, CMD, which is what we have, and then a random string, probably off of a malware repository. We go to relations. There's one contacted domain, just Microsoft.com, and 5 contacted IPs. However, they're all local or Microsoft, except for this IPv6, which, okay. If we go to behavior, again, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel, but if you don't want to follow along and want to look for yourself, now is your chance to do so. And as you can see, we have no sandbox, no IDS, and no Sigma rules. So that's starting to make me think that this isn't actually an info stealer, but probably is a Trojan of another variety, because based off of what we've seen in relations, with the contacted IPs all being just out of the US, and the behavior not showing anything at all, probably not sending your data off anywhere. Now, we will be checking this on our own. We do have a few tools down here for that if you're new, but just something to keep in mind. It's also exactly 381 kilobytes. But now that we've taken a look at it over here, we will now take a look at it on the desktop. So we've got cmd.exe. If we click properties and go to previous versions, not previous versions, sorry, details, we could see, I think that's command prompt Windows. So again, this is pretending to actually be CMD. And this says Microsoft Windows operating system. I'm sure that says Windows. And okay, so it really is just pretending to be command prompt. If you were Russian, then this would be pretty convincing. As a matter of fact, this would be really convincing. Small problem. Teensy tiny problem. You may not have even noticed it. I'm not Russian. Just because I speak Russian doesn't mean that I am Russian, comrade. Anyway, so, I mean, pretty good. I'd give it points for that. It just probably made it outside of its country of intended use. And now we'll take a look at the tools we'll be using for this video. So we have System Informer. Let's get this ready to go really quick. I should have done that before we started the video. My fault, gang. Process Monitor. Good to go. Wireshark, good to go, and Zooey. And last but not least, I'll need to go ahead and minimize that as well. Alright, now there is nothing to do but to run the malware. So we will run it as administrator. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure, why not? So we click yes, and immediately we see cmd.exe open. But you may have noticed that it has not opened under services or a service host. It has opened under Explorer. You may have also noticed that it has no icon. So this would immediately catch me by surprise. Okay, and now it's doing something that it didn't do in testing, which is plastering the... Okay. This is new. This is very new. Okay. Huh. It did not do this in testing. What it did... Oh my god. So as you can see, the CPU usage is at 99%. It is just duplicating itself over and over and over again. And... okay, this has to be because I changed the name of the file to cmd.exe. In testing, this was not cmd.exe. I actually renamed it for the video. What it was in testing was actually, if we go to details... Oh, it's being really slow right now, too. It was actually this executable name right here. So now we're going to have to do two tests. One with the name I got it under, and then obviously one with what we've got now. But literally, the entire thing is just plastered with cmd.exe. Very interesting. And if we come over here, we can see we've got a bajillion events. I'm scared to even put this in. Oh, look at how slow it is. How long it's taking to open the filter window. Oh, I think it froze. Yeah, as you can see, the loading wheel is no longer turning. And I can move the mouse. I was going to say for now, but I mean... Oh, there it goes. I was going to say for now, but since this isn't a virtual machine, it probably would have never frozen. And we're now at 90% memory. So as you can see, all of these windows are killing the system memory. So not only do we have the CPU to worry about, we've also got the memory to worry about. Now, obviously, this is going to be mixed with legitimate command prompt modifications. But I feel like I owe it to the video to look anyway. And I can no longer click anything in the taskbar. Oh, I can no longer click anything at all. And now I just can't click anything in the taskbar again. Well, that's good. As you can see, we have at least 4 events. I was never very good at math. The application is not responding. No, I don't want to close Microsoft Windows. Okay, I can't minimize that. Alright. Don't you just love it when everything works exactly as it's supposed to in testing? If we see over here, it is creating a Supermium folder, which it does seem to have deleted. Unfortunately, a lot of the things, like the executables and folders it creates, it does actually delete itself. So what it's doing is actually completely different. And we will run both tests. Obviously, I will test this again with a different name. But the first thing it's doing here is disabling Windows Defender. You know, go figure, right? If we keep going down here, there's a bunch of DLLs we've seen a bajillion times. And if we keep going, it is accessing the menu, or the start menu, for persistence. But it's got this random name. And it does seem like it's actually been deleted, or at least Process Monitor says it has. Will we ever actually get to open it and see for ourselves? Only one way to find out. But as you can see, the Microsoft Security Essentials folder has been modified as well. And here's what it was doing before. So I guess it's doing the best of both worlds. Who knows? But as you can see, it's dropping xdwd audacity.exe. Now, it will do this with 3 different names. It will do this with Audacity, Microsoft Excel, and I don't think it was Microsoft Word. I think it was something else. But it may have been Microsoft Word. We're going to look for ourselves anyway. But I'm obviously not going through all bajillion events. But if we keep looking through here, there's Audacity again. And then we've got System 32 Tasks Adobe Photoshop Upgrade. So, unfortunately, this has been deleted as well. Even if we get to pull up the window, we're not going to be able to see what it did. Which, here's Microsoft Excel. But which this is making me think, this, obviously this was made in Russia. I mean, we have literally, without a shadow of a doubt, full proof of that. But it's really good English so far. I mean, we've only seen 3 words. Anything could change, but it looks like it's also running that check again. So it may be running the same check over and over to make sure that Microsoft Defender is disabled, or Windows Defender, or whatever you call it. I don't care. And then it's just doing the same thing over and over. So we may have already seen everything that it does. The fact that it just multiplied like this is insane. We're still scrolling up. And yeah, okay. Is there anything up here, I wonder? Trusted installer is running, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's being used by the malware. It could just be a coincidence. Because trusted installer runs almost all the time. I don't see anything else that's very suspicious on its own, though. Look at how large these process ID numbers are getting. I think I just saw one in 6 digits. No, I may have imagined that. Okay, but still, we're getting to really, really high numbers. 26,780. And then 564. But I'm going to skim through this just a little more. We have a cmd.ini. Unfortunately, it is no longer on the device. And the folder has still not opened. I'm scared to restart the Explorer, because I've got a feeling that everything will explode if I do that. So I want to make sure that we are done here before I go any further. We do have msdmo.dll, devobject.dll, wintrust. The hell? That is new. Okay, so what if you don't notice what's happening? Whenever I click on one of these, it actually replaces it with something else. Now, this is probably a screen tearing issue because the computer is lagging so much. Yeah, it seems to have stopped now. But that was very interesting. That didn't have anything to do with the malware. That was just outstanding to me. We still haven't seen the other name. We've seen Excel and we've seen Audacity. And we've also seen Adobe. But that's not one of the 3 I was looking for. Also, we have proof that this was written in assembly because we've got Microsoft.NET Framework 64. And I did see something with assembly as well. Although I might have scrolled past it. I probably did scroll past it. Now I can't find it again. Well, we'll see it again eventually. Alright, if we keep going, cmd.ini was called again. Unfortunately, it's gone now. I'm not seeing anything new at this point. Just a bunch of DLLs we've seen on the channel before. But yeah, apparently if you run it with the intended name, the computer just shits. I mean, you guys probably can't hear the fan, but my computer is begging for the sweet release of death. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to run Zooey or take a look at it in Wireshark. And if you're wondering why, here's a simile. If you're wondering why, I can't minimize Process Monitor for one. And if we try to restart the Explorer, it's not even popping up the window to do so. So this is what happens when you run it as cmd.exe. I'm going to go to the other payload, and we're going to run it as the random string I got off of the malware repository, and then we're going to see what happens then. So I'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. So just to show that we do have the malware here with its original name, well, I guess CMD was the original name, but you get the point. With the name I got it under, and the tools that we used last time, just to show everything is running, I'll go ahead and start the packet or the process capture for that, and the packet capture for Wireshark, and show that we do have Zooey, and bring this over here because that's what I usually do. We'll go ahead and run the malware again, and I will show what this was supposed to do. So I'll minimize that, and run it as admin, and watch it make a huge liar out of me and just explode again. So what it did before is it ran in the background. You could see that it was doing active things, and here it is. So now it's opening a bunch of service hosts, and as you can see, the malware is not exploding, but what it is doing is opening command.exe and conhost.exe. So that's what it did before. So now if we come and take a look at it over... Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Wait a minute. Okay, before I... Right? Before I... Let me. We're going to open this in VirusTotal really quick, because we did see one IPv6 IP that was communicating, but that's not it. No, it's not even close. Okay, so it's definitely interesting. We're communicating with a lot, too. Oh, wait a minute. Is it just the Microsoft update thing? Yeah, it's Microsoft Crypto API. I haven't seen it do IPv6, though, so that's odd. But anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted by myself, we were going to take a look at this in VirusTotal. My brain is fried from not sleeping for the past few days. Process monitor. So we're going to put it in here. That's the process name, and then obviously operation create file. And we should have a lot more manageability. As you can see, we now have 1,846 events. This will update as time goes on, but it's definitely a lot easier to work with. So we're going to look through here. And as you can see, we see a bunch of DLLs that we've seen on the channel before. And then we've got the original name of the malware that's being called. And we've got Microsoft JScript.dll. Interesting. Visual Basic.dll. And we keep going through here. I guess it did disable Windows Defender originally. Okay, my fault. I'm wrong sometimes. And then here's another piece of evidence. This was written in assembly, GAC64. So we'll look through here, and it's roaming through app data. And now what we see is that startup file, and we've seen that before. And now we see the Audacity at Microsoft Excel, and eventually we should see the third one. I don't know why we haven't seen it yet. But it also has access to 7-zip, or made a 7-zip folder in tasks. So that's also something to keep in mind. We've got the Adobe Photoshop upgrade. Unfortunately, all of these have been removed. Even if you try to go to like the Audacity one, it's no longer here. Shows the folder that it was in, but unfortunately, we do not have it anymore on the device. The only thing that I can assume it is it's just another copy of the malware, because it was named SheetRAT, probably because it masquerades as Microsoft Excel or another Microsoft Office product. So if we keep going, and going, and going, and going, and gone, there should be one more name. I don't know why we're not seeing it, but this is really all that you're going to see now. It's just going to keep running those checks. It's not really going to do anything unique after this. Maybe I made it up. Or maybe I'm a schizophrenic. I have no idea, because there's supposed to be a third one, and it's not here, and I look like a fool. But that's the nice thing about this channel. here at Larry Bodenheimer's cybersecurity YouTube channel, I always look like a fool. And I'm sure everybody already knows that. But anyway, it's just going to keep repeating the same checks over and over and over. Your Adobe Photoshop upgrade, your xdwd.audacity.exe, it's going to keep opening command prompt and console host every once in a while. Probably once every 30 seconds, I would say. But if you keep looking through here, there's really nothing else to see here. So now we'll go ahead and crack this open in Wireshark. Go ahead and stop the packet capture. Save it as hiccup. Yeah, as hiccup. Save it as win.pcap. And then we will shove it through Zooey. And that really is the last thing that we're going to do, except for restarting the computer. Now, I'd pay money to say that it's going to restart. We've seen it access startup. And, yeah, usually when it accesses startup, you probably guess what it does. So the fact that it isn't being picked up in VirusTotal as persistence is a bit odd to me. But when persistence gives literally every single Trojan under the sun detect debug environment, you know, do with that as you will. But yeah, I do believe in this case it is just a Trojan. I don't think that we actually have any communicating data or anything like that. I don't think it's accessing a C2. I don't think it's even trying to reach out to a C2. I think that this is one of the older definitions of just a Trojan. A file masquerading as something else to get you to open it so that it can do super cool stuff. And in this case, the super cool stuff, if you run it as CMD, instead of literally anything else, is exploding. But now if we query the pool, we've got over 1,000 rows. We're probably going to see a lot of HTTP. We do have alert 3 here immediately, and that's Suricata. Everything with Suricata can be ignored. I tell you what, I will maximize this as well. Here's your HTTP stuff, but that's gotta be Microsoft, right? Or it's the detect portal for Firefox. Yep. So one for IPv4, one for IPv6. Has nothing to do with malware. We do have a notice here, probably an invalid certificate, and that's going to be from Microsoft, because Microsoft fails to validate their own certificates. Go figure. But we've seen that on this channel a bajillion times, so I'm sure that doesn't surprise any of you either. Got some alert 3s here. Alert 3. Alert 3. It's all just Suricata stuff. I would be jaw-droppingly surprised if we saw any alert 2s or any alert 1s. So I'm just going to skim through this. One, because there's over 1,000 rows, and two, all of the alert 3s are going to be Suricata and invalid certs, but they're all from Microsoft. Or the capture loss script detected an estimated loss rate above 17%. Did I lose any? I didn't drop any packets. I don't know why it's saying that. But we'll keep going. I think we're only about halfway through. And then this is all literally just Microsoft trying to pull things from Windows Update. Which another reason why I hate Windows. If we go to Windows Update, you will see that it's supposed to be paused until April 29th. I hate it here. Even if you disable it in O and O shut up, it will still reach out to that update server. Because why wouldn't it? And again, Suricata. We're almost at the end, so I'll open the rest of these alert 3s, and that's it. So, not stealing your data, and not doing anything if you run it with a wrong name. But if you run it with a right name, it will turn your computer into a nuclear bomb. But the last thing to do now is to restart the computer. No IP addresses to look at, no websites, no nothing. So we'll restart now. I haven't slept good for the past 3 days, and man, when I hit this bed, I am telling you, it will be tomorrow morning before my head even hits that pillow. Oh boy. Rubbing my eyes as I speak. But now that the computer has restarted, we will quickly go ahead and open System Informer. And in the last video, it tried to establish persistence and failed. But in this video, please don't make me look like a fool again. Please. Sometimes it does take quite a while, and then sometimes it's instant. But it was in startup, so it better start up. Why are we not starting up? You accessed the startup directory. Oh. In the back of my mind, I knew it was going to make me look stupid again. I was just really hoping that it wouldn't. But as you can see, it doesn't look like this even has persistence. However, there is one more thing we can try. I can try running it as cmd.exe. Oh, elevation. Oh, it was Microsoft Edge. There's one more thing we can try. We can try running it under its original name, or the name it's supposed to be, and then see if it has persistence, because I want to make sure we cover all of our bases here. And once it starts exploding the computer, we'll restart, and we'll see if there's any established persistence. You're not going to do it now, are you? Oh, wait. There it goes. Ah, we saw scheduled tasks as well. Are you really only going to drop 2 now? Oh, wait. Okay, I don't know why it's being infinitely slower this time. Maybe it was this slow last time and just took a while to get lifting off, but I swear by this point my whole screen should be filled with cmd.exe. Yeah, it definitely should have been a lot faster than this. I don't know why it's not. But anyway, I think now's a good point to restart the computer and see if it's established persistence with itself. I love malware making me look stupid, but at least you can see that it was completely different from the first time because I recorded it. So I get a little bit of a consolation prize. I'm going to rip this VM apart by the megabytes. Anyway, System Informer, we'll look again and see if there's any kind of persistence whatsoever. However, I'm not seeing anything. We'll give it like another 20 seconds, enough time for me to do an outro, and if it does open, I'll shut up, and then I'll try the outro again. So, that is... I saw command.exe and command prompt, and it was by itself, but we don't see the malware running. So, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to leave a like on the video. Leave a comment on the video as well, telling me what you thought was interesting about this video, and why it's annoying that I said this video so many times. Subscribe if you're new. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.